Hello, everybody. This is Mario Linares. I'm broadcasting from Rio de Janeiro. We have our support crew in Montreal, Canada. And Dr. Florian Kongoli is in one of the most magnificent landscapes of Paris, the Louvre Museum. The Louvre is the world's most visited museum. It has more visitors than Brazil itself. It receives over 9 million visitors every year, and it's the home of many of the most known work of arts, including the Mona Lisa. And we can see here the famous pyramid of Louvre, designed by French, Chinese American architect I. M. Pei. And I have the honor to call here Dr. Florian Kongoli from one of the most beautiful places in Europe and in the world, the Louvre. Hello, Dr. Florian. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mario, I hear you. How are you?
Very
How are you, Mario?
well. Very well. I miss the Louvre. Beautiful place there. How do you like your
Yes.
visit in Paris?
Oh, is excellent. Sorry,
And
is excellent as always. You
beautiful.
know,
It's a beautiful blue sky. Beautiful autumn sky.
no single, uh, no, no single cloud in the sky. It's a beautiful day.
Interesting.
It is 16 degrees. Has been 17 all day.
Uh huh.
So
Wow. We see the Louvre here, and up there the Jardin des Tuileries.
yes, yes,
Very
yes, yes,
good. Very
yes,
beautiful. This is one of my favorite
yes,
spots in Paris.
yes. But you mentioned the history of these pyramids, yes,
Yes.
and you know that there have been criticism of this since the start, since it was proposed. The architect works closely with engineers. This is mechanical
Yes.
engineering. You have to calculate the stress and the force of each single pieces of metal that holds the
Mhm.
pyramid. So it's
Yeah.
a engineering work closely closely coordinated by an architect. An architect is a
Yes.
kind of multi-dimensional scientist because he has to
Hmm.
take care of many things, including artistic point of view of many buildings. But this was criticized. This was criticized because it was too modern if we see the classical style of buildings around Louvre. It was
Hmm.
uh, it was too megalomaniac was called, and also was mentioned that the architect doesn't know the French culture. So huge criticism, but here we are today, so many years later. This is a landscape of Paris. Now,
Yeah.
as you see,
Over
the
three
the
decades, you cannot
three
imagine Paris without the pyramid. Yeah.
exactly. So, as you see, that the issue is that always scientists and engineers always face criticism when they propose something new. Sure, this is modern and the surrounding is classical, but what is wrong if we combine them both? This was not understood. And also, uh, being in the middle of Louvre with a modern, we do the links between two periods of humankind. But just to go to, you mentioned before, uh,
Yes.
scientists, engineers are always misunderstood and criticized, etc., etc. And this has
Exactly.
been a perpetual story. And by the way,
And
this morning,
there was even, we were talking about this in the morning when you were at
yes,
the Tour Eiffel,
yes,
because we talked about how sometimes engineers are misunderstood and all that. And by coincidence, there was an article published on this week's Nature magazine, one of the most prestigious magazines focused on science in the world, and it talks exactly about this, right? About now with social media, even scientists being harassed by their studies, by their things. And you've always defended and you've always stood up for scientists, engineers, and even when we talk about SIPs, 2021. It's always focused on science and technology, sustainability through science and technology. And how do you see this mixings and this sometimes haters of via social media of scientists? Scientists and engineers have always been misunderstood, but is it getting worse with social media?
Well, I'm very happy that science has also, at the end, for so long, after so long, nature magazines uh, is is protecting science in all directions, in all point of view. It's protecting science against harassment, against threats, against anything that nothing has nothing to do with science.
Mhm.
We are right now. This is a different dimension. This was exposed by COVID. There is a there is a pressure exercised to scientists through not through scientific arguments, but through opinions and non-scientific arguments. And this is kind of a different dimension of the fight against science. Science is
Mhm.
not politics. We do not vote for science. If we
Mhm.
like the idea or we don't like the idea, we do not vote for it. Science is
Mhm.
science. If we like the gravity or we don't like the gravity, whatever you say, the
It is
gravity is
there,
there.
right? Yeah.
So,
There's nothing we can do.
so fighting, threatening scientists for their ideas, that's not something that you do in science. You do it in politics. You fight ideas. You fight point of views. You are free to do that. But science fights with arguments, with artistic arguments. So there have been many discoveries that have been ridiculized 30 years ago, and people got Nobel Prize 30 years after because their discovery um, will hold through times, and it was proven to the practice. So
Yeah,
although
there
different,
is even you told this story another day about a Nobel Prize winner that was criticized by another Nobel Prize winner, and he became a joke. People made jokes of him because of the quasi crystal, right? You're
yes,
talking about this.
there are many cases like this, but the case you mentioned is case of Dan Shatman. He discovered quasi-periodic materials or quasi-crystals about 30 years ago. He
Uh
was
huh.
ridiculized by all other scientists, and one of his main fighter was a Nobel Prize himself, a Nobel winner, double Nobel winner, Pauling, and he
Mm-hmm.
was a good scientist. He deserved the Nobel Prize, but here he was wrong. And instead of fighting with argument, he fought against the idea
Facts.
with a certainty, with a certainty that was in the border of insult. So in American Chemical Society meeting, he expressly said that in front of 2,000 people. Be sure there are no quasi crystals. There are only quasi scientists. This is an example that when you go against any discovery in science with political arguments or with opinions instead of facts, that's what happens. For example, there is another Nobel Prize winner, Andre Game. He
Mm-hmm.
was proclaimed Ig Nobel. He won Ig Nobel Prize for the most ridiculous discoveries that exist. And few years later, he got Nobel Prize, the real Nobel Prize. So it's the only one has Ig Nobel and Nobel prizes. So when you fight science,
He
when you fight
levitated a
science,
frog, right?
yes, exactly.
And,
And
and,
then
and
he
this
got the Nobel
technology is now
Prize.
used for super speed trains.
Exactly, it is used today. So these
Yes.
are examples from history. If you fight science with politics, if you fight science with insult, if you fight science with opinions, this is a short view, and you'll never succeed. Sure, not every discovery will hold time, but that's the beauty of science. You discuss, you argument, but in the scientific level, no in the dehumanizing level, no with insults. no with threatening like the article of nature. At last, nature is exposing this, not without insult, threatening, etc., etc. This is something really ridiculous, even for the fact that it is happening. It likes to say, okay, I do not like sun, so let's
Hmm.
fight against sun. Whatever you do, the sun will be there. It is so. If you are able to argument that sun is not as bright as it should be, and what do we do to change it? That's a different story. If they are able to, but to go around and say I don't like rain. I don't like
Yeah,
rain.
yeah. It doesn't
Okay.
matter your opinion about that. It will rain or
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
regardless of you, right?
So this is what is the status today, and this is another reason why SIPS is so important.
Now,
We
Dr.
invite
Florian,
everybody
I was going to
without
ask you
any
this.
yes, yeah,
SIPS is indeed very important because you bring not only scientists together, because you gather scientists and you gather businessmen, entrepreneurs, and you gather authorities, politicis in the same. It's not only like political, scientific debate, because 95 of academia's work stay in
we
academia.
can
It
we can
doesn't come to the real world,
we can yeah.
right?
Yeah. In the meantime, we are going around to see this beautiful thing, and we can speak. Yes, because everybody is important. Everybody is
Uh
important.
huh. I see.
Everybody is important, and then we gather them together.
Hmm.
So
And
through
about SIPS,
arguments,
you
through
you
scientific
mentioned two. You
arguments,
mentioned
not
two.
with insults.
You mentioned you mentioned two Nobel Prize winners, Dr. Schachter and Dr. Geim, Andre Geim, Professor Dr. Andre Geim.
Yeah,
Uh,
Shetman and
they,
Gaim.
they
Yes,
have been, yeah, they've been at SIPS before, and you're expecting nine Nobel Prize
yes,
for Thailand in November, 28th of November to
yes,
2nd of
yes,
December.
yes.
Tell us about it.
Exactly. So we gather them together to discuss, to find solutions, to debate different discoveries. Not all discoveries are always successful. So you have
Hmm.
to fail 10 times and to succeed the 11th time or whatever in between or more. So failing in science is not an error, it's not a shame, it's not it's not that something that is the end of the world. You learn from your errors, and you discover something new the next day or the next decade, etc., etc. So this is a matter of science. This debate in science. This is not a matter of opinions out of the science and a matter of insults or threatening, like the Nature magazine published this week, or or even threatening with death the scientists. Why? Because they are expressing their opinion. Sure, not all the opinions are okay. They're not supposed to be all okay. This is a development, the science debate. The best solutions with are withstand time. So this is a natural process. Let's go around and see while we speak,
Yeah.
because it's a very beautiful area. So this
Yeah,
is
and
this
it's a
is the
beautiful
case.
sunset. It's a beautiful.
Yeah, and it will be sunset now. So this
Yeah.
is this is the case. Why? That's why SIPS. It is because you gather all scientists of all colors without any distinction. As long as it is within the as long as it is within the scientific debate. That's it. But we do not accept insults and threatens and so and threatening people and so on. We welcome everybody, and it is the
Good.
scientific process in itself that will determine which of the discovery will withstand time and which of the discoveries has been temporarily unsuccessful, which is a normal
Okay,
process.
Dr.
You have to
Florian,
fail 10 times.
move to
You
where
can
you were
really,
originally. Move to where you
yes,
were originally because of the signal. Move to where you were originally because the signal is
okay,
fading. Yes, exactly. I think there the
okay.
signal is better, and we have a beautiful
Yes.
view
For
of.
example, we see here the Wi-Fi in Louvre is not good. All all service providers have problems in the Wi-Fi. It goes off and off and off. It is in the
Yeah, you've
middle of
changed the
Paris.
provider three times, right? It's
All the
incredible.
providers, and
Probably too
this
many
is not
people
good. For
using at the
example,
same time. Probably
yeah,
there's a lot of people using the signal at the same time.
yes, but still,
But yeah,
this should
it
be
shouldn't
for
happen. It
custom.
shouldn't happen.
Yeah, yeah.
There should be a stress test for
So
that. But that
that's
and
what
much
it
more
is.
we're going to see on SIPS 2021 and Phuket Island. Yes, sustainability through science and technology. And we're going to be there from the 28th of November to the 2nd of December at the Hilton Phuket Arcadia, Thailand, Phuket Island. For more information, flogen.org-SIPS 2021. So, Dr. Florian, thank you very much for this live. And are we going to have another broadcast today, or is it
I
the
leave
last
you
one?
with some views of the pyramid again. I leave you with some
Okay,
views of pyramid again, where we started.
beautiful. Exactly. Would you like to say your final words from Paris, or are we going to broadcast again?
We'll see. This has been a week of many activities
Yes.
with a very tight schedule. Uh, we've been all working for at least let's say 15 hours per day. We have been including all the events.
From three
We
continents,
have
right? This is
from
amazing.
three continents, exactly, exactly. So thank you, Mario. Thank my people in Montreal. Thank Nick, and this is something encouraging that we are doing something good. And at the end, so things started to get better. Even
Oh, for
Science
sure.
Nature magazine starting to recognize the problems we have.
Yeah,
So
for
we'll
sure,
be
for
in touch
sure.
also. Let's see if we have some interesting things. We can do a live again uh, during the evening or during the night. Let's see.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay. Anyhow, it was a great experience. It was great to be your host here on these 12 live broadcastings we had from France, 9 from Nancy, and 3 from Paris. And you're closing this series, if it does finish now, in great style because you're here in one of the most, I don't know, amazing structures ever seen
No,
in a city. This pyramid, yes,
just to tell something. Here it
yes,
is. Here it is. Engineering, engineering mixed up and with art. So
exactly.
you entered in the most famous uh, painting and artistic museum in the world, and how
Uh-huh.
you get into it through engineering structure, through an engineering structure, and this
Yes.
is very significant. So
Uh-huh.
art and science are not far apart; they are closer to each other than what we think, and this is one of the symbols you can see here.
Uh-huh.
But this is a different project, a different idea. We can speak about this later in any other in any
Oh yeah,
other
yeah, for sure, for sure. Uh, uh, well, I think the whole thing, not only the pyramid, but if you look at this palace, it was built in the 12th century, started being built in the 12th century, and it's this magnificent. Yes, the whole collection of art and all that. And you,
yeah.
Dr. Florian, thank you very much for this opportunity of hosting this live broadcast and also being part of this communication project that started with SIPS 2018 in Rio de Janeiro. And since then, you've been engaged in many communication projects like the Artists of
Yeah.
Science. And if there is a place where you can mix engineering and art, you're just there. Yes, this pyramid with this architecture uh, treasury surrounding it. Yes, state of the art engineering, and in your field, metallurgy, right? So as a metallurgical engineer, you might
One
be
of
amazed with it.
chemical and metals.
chemical metals. So you might be really amazed with
Yes.
this, even for materials, because this alloy
Yeah.
is, I don't know exactly
Yeah.
how it
For
is,
sure.
but
Well, it is different. Medical, metallurgy, materials, chemistry. They are all linked. And also, St. Florian story then after.
yeah, you can tell us again.
Well, St. Florian in Central Europe, Germany, Austria, Poland, France, is fire of is saint,
The
the
patron.
saint of fire and metals.
Oh, I see.
So that's why it was a good
So
surprise
it was
when,
destiny. Becoming a metallurgical engineer was destiny. Yes.
yeah.
You had a good
Well,
relation with fire.
you can say that.
Yeah.
Okay
Well,
then.
Dr. Florian, thanks again, and it was a pleasure talking to you this week and since 2018. See you
Okay
later,
then.
and I hope we have new experiences like this.
Okay. Have a good day here there. Here it is
Great
coming
way of saying goodbye.
6 o'clock. Okay then.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, Mara.